We grew weary, waiting for a complete, all-in-one classic wedge case 68K compatible Amiga system, so we designed and built our own. Apollo Computer proudly presents the V4 A6000 68K compatible computer system. Our design replaces the bulky 3.5-inch floppy drive with a slim SD card. On the left, we have external access to primary IDE boot drive and a secondary SD card. The back has an onboard power switch, external JTAG ports, HD video out, USB and Ethernet. We fashioned a true high-quality mechanical original layout Amiga compatible keyboard. Built with ABS injection, molded plastic keycaps and modern switches. The A6000 system comes with everything you see here. Select from one of 4 additive manufactured case design color schemes. Join us to hack to the future with V4 and find out more at a6000.net.
I have no idea where this came from. This came out of nowhere. I just happened to see it on YouTube, and what the heck is going on in the retro space lately? First we got Commodore 64 coming back. We've got the Spectrum Next, the ZX Spectrum Next had another successful Kickstarter, and now we got this popping up. Also, I saw a video from I forget the channel, where he was showing off a new Windows XP machine and talking about how we need to get back to the days when computers were fun. I totally agree with him. Computers were a lot more fun in the past than they are today. I like the faster, I like the better technology, but Windows was more fun back then. It's not so much fun now. That's why I'm going to Linux, because Linux brings back that fun that the operating system used to have, and it doesn't have anymore. It's just so sterile. And I even noticed that macOS is starting to get the same desktop effects that Linux has had for a long time. Tiger was a more long-standing Mac user than I ever was. He used to have some of the Intel Macs. He said some of those visual features were in the macOS he was using at the time, but even before that, Compiz on the Linux desktop had a lot of those effects, and now they're starting to bring those back into macOS. And so they're bringing fun back into the desktop, but we need that back. And now we've got this effort going on, and this just came out of the blue. This is a brand new hardware, brand new 68K compatible Amiga. Now I don't know how compatible it is. It says it's 68K. It says it's a Motorola 68K compatible computer. It can run Amiga software, it can run Atari. I assume they're talking about the 16-bit Atari line, the Atari ST line, and macOS. They say it can run macOS. You're probably talking about 68K Mac. So that's an older versions of macOS before they went to PowerPC. So it'd be interesting to see. But this is a completely new design. Now they recently sold some systems. They have like a special edition, and they sold a limited edition version of these, and they apparently sold out. I don't know what the price was. I'm told that it was expensive. I assume that these probably would be, because they put a lot of work into this machine. It's very well designed. The case, if I understand, is 3D printed. The keyboard is all custom. It's mechanical, and uses injection molded keys, and the motherboard is all custom, and they reverse engineered the chipsets on the Amiga and the Motorola 68000 processor that these systems used, which is very similar to the 68K that was used on the Macintosh systems back in the day. So this is really just came out of the blue. And it's on the 40th anniversary of Amiga. So this is their website. It's A6000.net, and they make a really big deal. Hack to the future. It's that similar vibe that comes from Perry Fractic's own Commodore efforts to bring the Commodore back. As far as I'm aware of what little I've been able to find out about this thing, it's not FPGA based. They actually designed a 68,000 compatible CPU. They actually designed one. I don't know if it's on a FPGA or not. Haven't seen anything on here that says anything about them using FPGA. I'd be surprised if they didn't use FPGA, but it doesn't say that they did. So it says its new chapter begins. A new chapter in computer history begins today with the launch of the most powerful Amiga 68K compatible ever created. All packed into the large, compact, improved form factor of the good old A600. We've combined the soul of the original Amiga with the cutting-edge B4 AC68 6880 performance, delivering a machine that honors its legendary past while redefining what's possible. Whether you're a lifelong Amiga enthusiast or discovering it for the first time, this is the Amiga experience you've been waiting for. Designed with precision and passion, the new Apollo A6000 offers unmatched speed, stunning graphics, and modern connectivity, all while preserving the iconic simplicity and spirit that made the Amiga a household name. Small in size, massive in capacity, the new Apollo A6000 proves that true greatness doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be bold. So this is the machine. The case is 3D printed. The keys are injection molded. It has 2 gigs of fast RAM, 12 gigs of 12 megs of chip memory, 128 gigabyte CF card hard drive with the latest 68K Apollo OS. Runs Amiga 3.x software, games, Atari, and macOS. Dual SD card ports. Saga AGA RTS and HD video out. Has HDMI out. Arnie 16-bit stereo sound. Optional analog out. Maggie 3D VFX graphics. 100 megabit. Well, it has I know it has a gigabit Ethernet port on it. 4 USB ports, USB mouse, keypad, power supply. Power supply is USB-C, and video cable and a mouse pad. So, yeah, these are the different styles they made available for the pre-order. The pre-order's already closed; they've already sold out. I don't know when the official launch of the final product is going to be. There's no news on here of when that's going to be, but they're going to do a launch for the state. This is the first edition that they've made, sort of build up some funds. They've made a limited number of these, order them in these cases, and those are all sold out. Here's where everything is located on the case. It has two SD card slots, and those replace the floppy drives. It uses a compact flash card, which replaces the hard drive. Compact flash cards, they're still available. You can still get those, because some video equipment still uses compact flash, so those are still available. So here's the power button, then USB-C for power. C is the USB ports. These are two USB ports. I think those are 2.0. And then Gigabit Ethernet. E is HD video out, so that would be HDMI. Then there's the audio. Yes, that's optional analog out. JTAG port. I assume that is for external storage devices. I think that might be for floppies. I think. I'm not sure. I know some things about Amiga, but I don't know everything about it. I know way more about Commodore. Commodore 64. Not as much about Amiga. I wish I had an Amiga back in the day when back in the 80s and the early 90s. I wish I had one of these. An expansion slot. Don't know what that'll be used for. I assume that's for some future upgrades and everything. Then the keyboard, mechanical, again, injection molded keys, status LEDs, and this is the slot for the CF card, which is for the hard drive. The SD card slot over here, the other SD card slot over here. Then below that is O, which is the mouse and joystick ports, USB mouse and joystick ports. And then you got N, which is mouse and keyboard and mouse ports. Keyboard and mouse ports over here. You can use external keyboard and mouse. And then the joystick ports. Your standard, similar to Atari joystick ports on the side. So this thing looks interesting, and then here's actual photos of the machine itself, and you can tell from the texture it's 3D printed. You see the slightly rough texture. You can tell the case is 3D printed. There's ways of smoothing that out using alcohol and stuff like that, but overall, I mean, it's a good way of using 3D printing for manufacturing products like this. Here's a look at it here. They probably should have smoothed it out. Maybe for the final build, before they actually do an actual launch for this, well, that they start selling these on a regular basis. They might either get these injection molded. If they settle on a final design, because the other designs that they made were specifically for this special 40th anniversary first edition that they were releasing to build up some funds. So I assume the final case will probably be injection molded, but because as you can see here, the 3D printing will eventually start to acquire some dust to it, and you'll have to constantly be cleaning this, or else you'll see this gray on it from the texture. There's a ways of smoothing it out, as I said, with alcohol, with an alcohol bath, but overall, still not bad, not very bad, and a good way of using 3D printing from manufacturer. A good way of doing it. Another good look at the keyboard here. You This is fully Amiga compatible keyboard. This is the logo for the company, Apollo. I haven't seen any videos yet on this thing performing. I hope that one of the early buyers is one of the retro channels, so we can actually see this thing in action. Actually see this thing running, because I really do want to see this machine in operation. And here's the back. There's the CF card slot. That's the extra USB slot here on the side. The other, SD card slot. Another SD card slot over here. There's the power button with the USB-C power. There's these are white USB ports, so I assume those are probably 2.0. 3.0 is usually blue. Now the color usually doesn't mean anything, but they're usually color coded. There's the audio, there's the video out, HD video out, so that would be HDMI. There's the port here. I think this is the JTAG port. They call it. Excuse me. Expansion port, which I'm not sure what that'll be used for again. You see a little bit of the coloring for the LEDs. For power, probably for when the drive is being accessed, and also for... Yes, it has caps lock. So there will be a light for caps lock, a light for drive access, and a light for power. Not a lot to the website right now, but yeah, this is... I am intrigued by this. I'm really intrigued by this. Because we're really seeing a massive revival of retro stuff. I'm shocked no one has tried to do a Apple II compatible or something. Although Apple would probably go after them for that. Apple II GS compatible device or something. I know there's quite a few retro systems out there that we need remakes of. I would love to have a system that could modern day system that could run like Atari ST stuff, which theoretically this could do. This should be able to do. Because it says it will run stuff for Atari and macOS. Well, I am intrigued by this. I really am. As I said, there is no information on when this will actually launch. I'm assuming that we're going to get an announcement from them at some point on this. But, yeah, back in 1985, we all had the Commodore 64. We dreamed of Amiga. In 1992, we had an Amiga, but wanted next gen. In 1994, Commodore went bust, so we got nothing. 40 years later, Amiga lives and Apollo delivers. It's a great time to be a retro enthusiast right now. A great time. As I said, I want to see this thing in action. These specs here tell me that they're aiming for Commodore. It says it would run Amiga 3.x software, of which there's a lot of games, a lot of software. Atari, they don't specify exactly what Atari. I assume the Atari ST line, 16-bit ST line, and since it's a 68K compatible CPU, I assume the 68K Max can on older macOS operating systems and software. You put software on SD cards. So I'd assume then that their Apollo OS can run disk images, can mount disk images from the SD cards. That's how I assume it would work. But this is impressive. This is impressive. Probably will cost a lot. I could easily see this being somewhere around this much work put into it. I could easily see this being somewhere around $600, $800, maybe $1,000. That would be stretching a bit. I would say maybe somewhere in the area of about 800. I could be wrong. Again, no real detail yet. They only just sold out for the initial release for their fundraising for this, for the Apollo A6000 first edition. They sold those out. That's what this is for here. This sold out for. So when they actually start putting these into production and actually selling these on a regular basis, I'd like to see what the price is, and I'd like to see how these perform running on their Apollo OS, and also running other stuff, running macOS, running which is Atari's operating system for the ST. What did they call that? I never knew anybody that had an ST. I've seen plenty of videos of the ST, and the ST was very much a competitor for the Amiga. It was very comparable to the Amiga in a lot of ways. But yeah, this is just super intriguing. Came out of nowhere. Totally came out of nowhere. So, yeah, if you're a retro enthusiast, you're having a great time right now. Anyway, unless something more pops up, you're probably not going to see a retro spotlight like this in a while. But there's no telling what's going to happen, because we're seeing a trend of this happening. I've been covering a lot of hardware lately and not a lot of games, but I'm going to get back to doing retro games very soon here in Retro Spotlight. Anyway, I'm intrigued by this. I would really like to have one of those C64 Ultimates and one of these. I would very, very much like to. Anyway, I've been Mike DeZorch. Thank you for watching. This has been Retro Spotlight, and I will be back next time with more retro goodness. See you then.